Just who exactly is Gregory's girl? Some would say Dorothy and some would say Susan, but most people would say it's my next guest. Joining me now is Allison Forster, who played Gregory's little sister, Madeline. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ross.
I'm so delighted to have tracked you down, because for so many years after the movie came out, nobody could find you, and it turns out you had moved to Toronto. When did you move over there?
We moved over here in 81, January of 81, so I never really saw the release there. I saw the release here.
Did you get recognised over there?
Oh, no, absolutely not. The little movie theater in the city that we were living in had my name up on the billboard because they had released the movie.
Yeah.
And not one of my friends or anyone ever commented or, really picked up on it.
So, did you really miss out on all the fame that came with the film?
Yeah, I'd say most of it. There was I'd say maybe 2 or 3 weeks of sort of press release stuff when the Toronto press got a hold of me. Like the premiere in Toronto, I went to that and a few little things like that. But really, I had no idea how big it was here. None at all.
When did you first come to realise how big it was?
When that was, my aunt actually sent me the paperback book of the film. And I thought, maybe it's a little bit bigger than I thought it was. Right? So that was, I guess, probably the first inkling. And then when they started showing it on TV, then I thought, okay, maybe it was kind of big. But over here, it never really received that kind of, acclaim or the way it went off in Scotland. And I didn't expect that in Scotland either. I had absolutely no idea. So it was a big surprise to me, too.
Now, tell us how you first came to meet Bill Forsyth and how you landed the role of Madeline.
It was actually kind of funny because I went to the Cottage Theatre, which is still in Cumbernauld Village. And I would go there, I think I went 2 or 3 times a week. And him and John Gordon Sinclair came to one of my classes, and we were told to act out a scenario where I was trying to coach my brother on how to talk to a girl. And the funny thing was, I was always joking around and was never very serious. But the boy that they actually matched me up with, I didn't like at all. So I was very serious because I was in a mood. So they stayed until the end of the class, and I just sat basically and talked to them for a few minutes, and they said, yeah, we're making a film, we're casting for, Gregory's younger sister, would you be interested? And I said, well, yeah, sure. I didn't really take it seriously. So I went home, walked home, told my mom, and she said, yeah, right, whatever. So they ended up calling. I went back and read with them, and they called back and said, yeah, it was me and one other girl, and apparently I looked more like them than the other girl, so I got the part.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you would have been about 11 or 12 at that time?
Yeah. About 12, I think. Yeah, about 12.
What are your favourite memories of actually shooting the film? Do you have any funny stories or anecdotes that you can remember?
Well, I had one memory that I actually, being a normal teenage girl, well, preteen or whatever, I had gone to the movies in the afternoon with my friends, and they actually came in and pulled me out because they wanted to shoot in the town centre. And apparently they'd got whatever area they needed that day, so I had to leave. So I remember being annoyed at that. And when we got there, it was actually the scene that's in the shop window, where I'm pointing to all the different colored jumpers.
Yes.
And there was, I think it was like a hotel bar. It was a big eagle sort of insignia that was up there at the town center right beside that little shop. And a drunk man had staggered down the stairs and wandered over to see what the commotion was.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, it was good. He stood in front of the window and was taking his teeth in and out.
Oh, my God.
So between them trying to clear him away and me trying not to laugh, that was probably pretty much one of my favorite moments, one of my best memories of the whole thing.
Now, what I want to bring up is something that a lot of people maybe don't know. In the original Gregory's Girl movie, it wasn't your voice they used in the film. Did that bother you? Did you know it was going to be dubbed over?
No, I had absolutely no idea. And I remember at the initial screening, I wasn't that bothered, but I remember all my family turning and looking at me and going, that's not your voice. But that I can always remember them having trouble with my voice, with the sound. I was quite softly spoken, and as you can hear, my voice has an odd pitch. So I'm actually not that surprised, and it doesn't bother me.
So you actually said all the lines and did all the things, and then they just took your voice out and put someone else in?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Yeah, it sounds like Carol's voice, the girl that plays Carol, so I don't know if she did my character as well.
Well, you know, she's coming on the show, so I must ask. That would be...
Yeah, you should ask her. It sounds like her.
And it was just incredible that the film was such a success internationally as well. Why do you think that story was such a success?
I think it was probably because when you look at what came slightly afterwards, right, with all the John Hughes movies, all the coming-of-age ones, that was basically the first big British one, right? And the humor in it, the Scottish humor is so unique. I mean, still there's things to this day I say, and people just that are not Scottish look at me blankly. But I think that was a big, and it was just everybody in it was so real, you know, you could identify with everybody. There was nobody that was, you know, highly polished like your Hollywood act, and it's just a really sweet, nice story.
Who did you best bond with on set? Would it have been John Gordon Sinclair?
Absolutely. I spent the majority of my time with him. And Bill Forsyth was really good about letting us get to know each other before it. You know, we spent a lot of time, just the two of us, you know, rehearsing and things like that. So when it came time to film, I was very, very comfortable with him. So, yeah, I would say absolutely him. It was him, and after that, it would have been the makeup lady. I spent a lot of time in the van with her.
Right. And did you keep in touch with anyone from the movie? Or have you reconnected?
Just with John Gordon Sinclair, and I guess a couple more through Twitter, but that's only been recently. I mean, that was a part of my life that was a long, long time ago, and I never really expected to reconnect with anybody, so it's been a really nice surprise.
Have you retired from acting completely now?
Oh, absolutely. Complete opposite end of the spectrum. Absolutely.
Would you act again if you were asked to?
I think if you'd asked me that maybe 10 or 20 years ago, I probably would have said yes. But at this point in my life, I think that's sort of a bus that I've missed. I'm happy. You know, I'm happy with what I do. I'm very lucky to have that experience. How many people can say they got to do that in their life and, you know, have that legacy to pass on to their kids? So it is what it is. I'm happy in what I do now. If I'd stayed in Scotland, it may have went on another path, but, you know, everything happens for a reason, so leave it at that.
Wow. Well, I've got one last question for you, Alison.
Sure.
And now, I'm not sure the last time you saw the movie, but do you have a favourite line from Gregory's Girl?
Well, it would probably have to be Who's Going to Be Gregory's Girl, right? And I think that's the one you expect me to say, and that's true.
Brilliant. Okay. Alison, it was lovely chatting to you, and I really appreciate you coming on the show because I know that probably because you disappeared to Toronto, you didn't do many interviews in the past, did you?
No, absolutely not. But I appreciate you reaching out to me. It really, you made me feel a part of it again, and I truly appreciate that.
Well, you're a big part of it, Alison. You have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Ross. You too. Take care.